What's up YouTube, Redbeard's Garage, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be testing out the Coleman CT200U and giving it a test ride. Oh yeah! Look what the mailman has dropped off. Ordered this Coleman mini bike off of Amazon for $4.99. I think after tax and everything it was $5.57. So let's unbox this bad boy. It's actually been sitting in my garage for like 2 days, so of course I've been getting pretty excited wanting to ride this thing. We're also going to be doing the this is the CT200U. Now they have a CT200U EX, which has front suspension, a headlight, and a toolbox that looks like a gas tank. So we will be doing it next Monday, and then we'll take them both out for a ride. So it looks like it's mostly assembled. So yeah, it looks like you only have to put the handlebars on it pretty much. I'll grab the camera and I'll show you a look inside the box, how it looks when you open it up. So when you open it up, that's pretty much what you see. Everything looks like it's put together other than the handlebars, and you can see them kind of standing up there. What I'm probably going to do is rip the side of the box right here and just open it up. So I'll throw you back on the tripod. Let's get this thing out. It is raining today, so it's perfect weather to be riding a mini bike. We'll start by breaking open. Alright. There we go. Oh, I didn't know. So the box didn't have a bottom. It was just sitting on this cardboard platform. That's a mess. Okay. Alright. So it looks like we have the front fender. Hopefully Lonnie's going to get off at a decent time today and we can go riding. There's a little front rack. Now of course if you buy this at Walmart, sometimes Walmart has these. I think it's around the holidays they stock these. But if not, you can get these at Tractor Supply or on Amazon. Like I said, Amazon has them for $4.99, so it's a pretty good deal. Okay, so it looks like we can take this shaft out, pull that out, have a bag of bolts, some zip ties, a little owner's manual, as well as a little tool bag. Has a bunch of various wrenches in it. When you pull this shaft out, you're going to have a lock nut, 2 large washers, and 1 small washer. So when we're putting this thing together, we need to hold these forks up in place. I'm sure this is not going to be the easiest thing to put together. The small washer goes up top in between. I'll set that down and kind of use the bolt to line it all up. And then we use a large washer in between the fork and the neck. Just line everything up. Come on, baby. And there we go. Then another large washer and the lock nut on the bottom down there. So it looks like in the kit we get various wrenches. This is actually a really nice set. It has an 8 and a 10 on one side, then a 12 and a 14, then a 13 and a 16, a 17 and a 19, and another 17 and 19 wrench. So good little set of wrenches to have on one of these mini bikes. So the bottom lock nut is a 14 and the top is a 16. So we're going to use those 2 wrenches and get this tightened up. Now you don't want to really torque this thing down. Get it pretty good and snug so you have a good tight steering feel. You don't want it super loose, but you don't want it over tightened it as well. Next we're going to be installing this front little luggage rack. You can see it'll set under this top bar and then on top of the little knuckle on the front. I can move the camera around to give you a better angle. So first we're going to take 2 of our 8mm nuts, feed them down through this top bar and into the luggage rack, as well as a third 8mm in the bottom of the luggage rack. Take 2 of our 8mm nuts and go ahead and finger tighten them on the tops of the luggage rack up here, just to snug them up, hold everything in place. Next, we're going to want to take our front fender. The small portion is the front, the large portion is the rear of the fender. Take it, slide it on that. We'll go ahead and stick our back bolt in as well. Now we're going to use our large washer and our 8mm nut on the bottom side of this fender to hold everything in place. Probably be handy having 2 hands here, but we'll make it work. And grab our second large washer and our last 8mm nut and put it on this rear bolt for this rear fender mount. Come on, baby. And then we can install our front nut and washer as well. Now we're going to use our 13mm and 10mm sides of our wrenches to tighten everything up. 10mm goes on top of the bolt and the 13 goes on the nut on the bottom. So now we can tighten up our top bolts on this luggage rack using our 13mm and our 10 as well. Of course, this would be a lot faster if we had a ratchet wrench, but I wanted to assemble this whole thing with the tools provided, because most people, when they receive this, that's probably how they're going to assemble this bike. It's going to be a lot easier to get to this nut and bolt by turning the handlebars, so you can access the nut good. You're really going to want to tighten, torque all this stuff down just to make sure nothing falls off on the trail. So this mini bike ships with the tire under the frame. So what I'm going to do is pull that tire off, and I have 3 4x4 blocks. I'm going to slide up under there. So let's try to do this without flipping everything off the table. Okay, don't know how safe that's going to be, but we're going to try it. Nice little tire they gave me with this kit, and it is a directional tire, so there is an arrow on the side telling you which way the tire should rotate. We're going to go ahead and take this wheel shaft out. Now you're going to want to put the 2 washers on the inside in between the wheel shaft and the fork. Go ahead and slide that on there. This is probably going to be a little bit of a pain. Let's find that arrow, find out which way this thing should be rotating. Do is stick the shaft out just a hair, put this other washer on, and slide it the rest of the way through. Put our lock nut on. So you're going to use a 17 on the bolt and a 19mm on the lock nut. Go ahead and get this tightened up. I always spin the tire so I can make sure I'm not over tightening it. Tire spins freely and that shaft is locked on there pretty well. You're probably going to want to ride this thing for a few hours and then go over all your bolts and retighten. So most people, when looking at this in a store that knows a little bit about go-karts, would think this is in fact a torque converter. but it's not. It's just a clutch running back to a small jack shaft that kicks the chain over to the right side of the bike a little bit to line it up with the rear sprocket. It is nice how they went with 420 chain instead of number 35. I always found that number 35 will give you problems with stretching and braking, so I always like to run 420 on pretty much any of my go-karts, on-road and off-road. So it's nice they included on this mini bike. So we're going to install the side cover now. Looks like we're going to have to pop it onto the bottom. They don't give you a lot of clearance on the bottom, but it has 2 ears down there and then 2 ears on top. Just slide, lock it all down. Then it comes with these small clips, 4 of them. We're going to pop all these clips, and I found that these can be a little stiff. So I always use a wrench, and I get in there on the clip and pry it apart a little bit to get it to snap on there. And the bottom ones are a little bit of a pickle to get to, but it isn't nothing you can't do. I'm actually going to use a flathead on this one because the space is limited. The one on the right bottom is the hardest to get on. They don't give you a lot of clearance in between this bottom frame rail and that little ear. So just use a flathead and work it on there. So we got that all installed. Looks pretty good. It does bow up. Right here it looks like these tabs was welded kind of in the wrong spot, but it'll work out fine. You can see how that edge is popping up there. The main reason for this cover is to keep your leg out of the chain and your pants, of course, and to keep you from burning yourself on the centrifugal clutch. I am a little disappointed how Coleman went with a centrifugal clutch on this mini bike. A torque converter would have been a much better option. One thing there is to note is this engine has a 5/8 shaft, where every other 6.5 horse I've ever seen has a 3/4 inch shaft. To finish this build off, we're going to tag it with a Redbeard's Garage side cover coin. Now the last thing we got to do is put some oil in this bad boy. It takes, I always put 1030 synthetic in all of my engines, so I'm going to use some Napa full synthetic in this one, and I bought this nice little spout because these engines can be a pain to put some oil in, so this makes it a little bit easier. So we got half a quart in this engine, that's all they take, so it's always nice 1 quart being able to be used for 2 oil changes. Now we're just going to run this engine for about 15 to 20 minutes to let it break in. Then we're going to change the oil and then put that other half quart in it, and we should be good to go riding it. Alright, so we're ready for the first start. We're going to turn the kill switch on up on the handlebars. Make sure the gas is on and choke is on. Same thing as a Predator engine, they're designed the same. Ready to ride. Isn't that rough like I thought it would be. Now we're going to throw Lonnie on it and let him ride it. It's fun. You ready for this hog?
Does that answer your question?
Sorry.
Not horribly slow either.
No, it's a lot better than I thought. I like it.
These are gonna be fun.
Yes.
Especially with the performance parts.
Yeah, and it's raining right now, and we're about to go
Mud.
We're about to go mudding. We're about to get these things dirty, so it's already getting filthy. Look at the front of the engine. Who cares? It's what we bought them for. I hope no clutches go out on us. But
you gotta go and jinx us like that.
Sorry. So guys, what do we think of this Coleman mini bike? It is absolutely fun. We rode it down to the dollar store, climbed some hills on it, and that centrifugal clutch actually works pretty good. I really wish they would have put a torque converter on this engine, but hopefully we'll figure out something to put a torque converter on that motor, or be able to swap the engine out later on and put a torque converter on it, because these things would be crazy with a torque converter. We did ride in the woods some, and it handled everything perfectly fine. We climbed some logs, we went through some mud, and never had a problem out of these mini bikes. So make sure you go check out the links in the description below. They do help us out if you use those links. The bike runs about $560 on Amazon, and I don't think you can find any better deal on a mini bike. Mini bikes in my area run about $400 to $500, and they're in rough shape. So to get a brand new mini bike right out of the box for that price is a heck of a deal in my book. Make sure to go Power Sports and use that discount code REDBEARD to save 10% on all your go-kart and mini bike needs. Without them, this video would not be possible, so make sure to help support that company that is supporting your favorite YouTubers. Guys, we are on Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. Links are in the description for all this stuff. If you want to go follow us and like us there, you'll see pictures before the videos come out, and it'll keep you up to date with what we're doing. We also opened up a P.O. Box. That's Redbeard's Garage, P.O. Box 572, Sweetwater, Tennessee, 37874. And you know, if you want to send us something, a lot of people is asking us for a P.O. box so they could send us something for the wall or something they want to see on our go-kart. So if you have something you want to send it, we're not asking you to send anything. This was just a request from a bunch of subscribers, so here you go. Links are in the description for our social media, for Go Power Sports, for these bikes. And we will be putting the performance kits on these bikes, so stay tuned. It's Mini Bike Monday, every Monday from now on, so you'll always get a nice mini bike episode once a week. And guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and help support the channel. We are trying to grow this thing big so we can do even bigger builds for you guys and bigger giveaways. And yeah, so always come back to Redbeard's Garage. I'm out.